session with UiPath because the discovering a process is as important as developing a process. So we'll discuss in detail like how we can do that. So moving forward, introduction, Monica.
Monica, you're on
Yeah.
mute. Because
Hello, everyone. Myself, Monica, and I work as an RPA developer in the Silicon Partners. I have an experience of almost 3 years, and you can reach out to me through LinkedIn via this link.
Thank you, Monica. I'm Deepak, and I'm an RP developer, and I've been working as an RP developer for around 3 years at the TSP. And I've been working on different technologies like DU, test automation. We are working on different technology. And if you have any doubt and if you want to discuss anything, you can just reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to connect. So, firstly, the agenda for today. So, we have 5 topics majorly. So, first will be identifying opportunities. Like, why identifying opportunities is important. We'll discuss briefly about that, like why we are discovering opportunities and what are the benefits of discovering opportunities, what it can provide us as backed with data. So we'll see briefly about that, and then we'll go to the benefits of task mining. What are the benefits and what are the users or the BAs and what are the different peoples who are getting the benefits of task mining. We'll see briefly about that too. Now we'll go to how task mining works. Like we'll see what methodology, like what kind of platform it is, and how the data is being recorded, how the data is being used, how the BA is analyzing the data. All those things we'll cover there. Then we'll go to approaches of task mining. There are 2 approaches to task mining. So we'll see briefly about that. We'll see a live demo. We'll see how we can create and how we can use those projects. We'll see that. And then we'll go to task capture, how we can use that, and difference between task capture and task mining. There is a difference between them. So we'll discuss about that too. Moving forward. So firstly, basically there are 3 pillars of automation. Like we have been developing process. So basically there are 3 pillars of automation. First is discover, then we move to automate, then we go to operate. So these 3 pillars are important. Even if we want to skip one step, we can't, because it will disrupt the cycle, because every part is important. So firstly, today we are going to cover majorly about discover. So why discovery is important? So let's just say that a person is working on a project and you want to automate it, but have you analyzed that project thoroughly? Like, is the process good enough to be operated? Is the return on investment of that particular project is good enough for you to start working on it? Like, if you want to automate that, you are buying license, you are asking a developer to develop that project, but is that project good enough? So to continuously discover new opportunities to automate and to improve the different processes and set a standard operating procedure and find the areas where the return on investment is very high. So for that kind of areas, to identify that, we usually do discovery phase. So for by UiPath, we have different tools for this phase. First is process mining, then we have task mining, communication mining, capturing. So today we are majorly going to cover about task mining. So what task mining actually is? So in task mining, let's just say that a user is working on a system, let's a business user. He is working on some finance process, and you want to identify a process if there is any opportunity to identify processes from them and want to automate it to help the user. But for that, a BA will have to sit with them. So see like how is working and what kind of different processes are there and what kind of different variations to that particular process are there. But it will take a lot of time of the user, to be serious, and it will not be a good enough data backed approach. So for that we will use task mining. So what task mining do, we'll set a recorder in the user's application, and he'll just do his work. He'll not have to interact with any user or anything. He'll just have to do, he or she will have to work on his task. But in the back end, the task mining will capture all those data that he is doing, and then it will analyze all the data and provide us with outputs, like how many users are working on a certain process, how many time it is taking for to complete a certain process, and how many applications are being used, and how many different variants are of that particular process. Like it can happen like let's just say that we are submitting an invoice, and one customer has one person is submitting the invoice in 5 minutes, but other it is taking 20 minutes. So why is there a gap in between? Is there a process different approach that they are using? Is there some bottleneck? Is there some they are stuck at some point? So all those different points we can find through task mining, and that will be completely backed by the data. And when we have that complete insights about that processes, then the BA can ask the person, the business user, like then we have the points, like we know what you are doing, and just we want to clarify a few things that we were not able to understand. Other than that, we have a complete data, like what your processes are, what are the different exceptions, what are the different path you are following, and what kind of different applications that you are working on daily basis. So it provides us all those information, and it can be centrally governed. Like you don't have to go to different places to get different kind of data. It is solely managed by the cloud on the cloud platforms. You can completely manage it there. It's completely managed, centrally governed. So on the next slide, we'll see a dashboard. So you'll see on that right side, you'll see there's a dashboard. So you'll notice it in by this in this project we have around 240 hours of data being recorded, and around 65K actions are there. So by this data we can understand like what the users are working on. Like we have that how many applications they are majorly using, what are the top 5 applications, what are the minimum and maximized utilized app, and how many times of a day are they spending on those particular processes. We have a chart to see that like on this day they spend, like because some processes are heavily on month end, some processes are happening on daily basis, some processes are quarterly, some processes are yearly. So they can be a difference in all those data. So we want to find a perfect task to be automated. So by all this data, by all this context switching data, we the BA or the project admin can easily understand like this is the process that we want to automate first, and it will help the user more. So by task mining, we'll get this kind of dashboard, and we'll see live also like how this dashboard look like and what kind of feature it provides us. Moving to next slide, we have use cases. Like there are lots of use cases in task mining. Like we can think of too many use cases, but these are the few use cases that I have mentioned. I have personally worked on these few use cases, like in finance and accounting, human resource, customer service. In finance account, let's say invoice processing. I noticed like some processes, invoice processing have different scenarios. Like let's just say if the invoice is amount is more than $1,000, so there is a particular step of verification added. So you have to ask for approval for your by your manager or some account manager. You have to ask for their approval. So you go to Outlook, you send a mail, and when you go receive a mail reply from them, if it is approved, then you go to SAP and complete that process. But if it is rejected, then you have some different process. You have to go to server your file server and SharePoint. You have to upload that file there, update the values into Excel, and do some changes in Excel, SAP too. So all those scenarios, if we were going through a manual approach, we are asking the users to show us like what you are doing. We'll not be able to cover all those scenarios in a complete run, because there are lots of scenarios. You can't just complete everything on a day, and it will take a lot of users time, and it will take yours time a lot to create all those documentation, find all the exceptions, find all the decision making points. So all these points are required before moving to development, because then the developer have a clear idea like what he has to develop, what kind of methodology, what kind of approach he want to use in his process, because approaches can change basing depends on your decisions. So few use cases I have mentioned, but there are a lot of different use cases, like in SAP functional team, like order to sales part. Like there are lots of different opportunities in that too. If you have a team that is working on those part of your company, then you can analyze that part and find different traces. Like it will be interesting to see the data, like how many things they are doing in a day and what kind of different things are there in that. So we can see that. Moving to the next slide, we have the benefits of task mining. Monica will take tell us about that.
Okay, so there is a various benefits of task mining, and it helps various people within an organization. First, being automation leaders, as it helps them to identify and prioritize process based on the automation that is needed in their organization. It also maximizes their return on invest. investment, and it also helps them to track, like identify the areas where we can further optimize our processes. Second being the business analyst, as it helps them to quickly understand how an organization works. It provides them a detailed documentation, which in turn saves their time of creating the document by themselves, and it also gives the detailed explanation about the process, which helps the BA. Now, the third is automation developers, as it gives them a head start about by telling them like which task needs to be automated, and which in terms save their time of that they spend by for gathering the details, and it also provides them with an automation template skeleton, which accelerates their development. The fourth being employees, as it doesn't disrupt their work too much, and it also keeps their data safe and it follow privacy rules. Now next, how task mining works. So there are different stages in which the task mining work. The first being the discovery part. So the task mining collects employees' desktop data by logging each user's action on their desktop. So it records the interactions that the user make with their desktop within the pre-selected applications. And it collects the data, which is then further used for the further analysis. The second stage is the understanding stage. So once we have collected the data, this data will then be visualized, and we identify the patterns, trends, and the variations in the user behavior. So with the insights we gain from the understanding phase, it next moves to the act, which takes action to improve the process and drive efficiencies. Now, task mining also offers continuous monitoring capabilities to track the effectiveness of the implemented changes over time. Now, next. So there are two approaches for task mining. First being the assisted task mining, in which we capture variations of the known task and easily merge them for end-to-end analysis. The second is the unassisted task mining, which records employees' desktop activities. Then it leverages AI to gain the insights and identify like what are the repeated tasks that are suited for the automation. Now, in other words, I would differentiate, like suppose if we have a process and we know the process well, we can use assisted task mining. But in the scenarios where the process is unknown to us and we don't know whether it is a perfect candidate for the automation, we can use unassisted task mining, and it will help us to identify whether this process is perfect candidate for us task mining or not, automation or not. Yeah. So let's move to the detail of unassisted task mining. So let me just quickly open the orchestrator. Okay, so I have opened the cloud. So there are two important prerequisites for starting the task mining process. The first being to check if the task mining service is enabled in our cloud or not. So I'll just go to the admin and click on the tenant in which I have to create the task mining process. And in the services option, I'll check like whether the task mining option is enabled or not. So just in case if it is not enabled, I can just click on this triple dots and enable the service. So once we check the service has been enabled, I can just, the second prerequisite that is important is to check whether the user have registered for the tenant in which we are creating the project, for which I have to go to the accounts and I can check like the user that I need to add to my process, is it there or not? So suppose if the user is not there, I can just simply invite the user from here, enter the email ID and send an invite. Now, once we follow all the two important prerequisites, we can move forward by creating the task mining process. I can just simply go to the task mining tab. It will open the task mining home portal for me.
Hi, Monica, this is Ashish. I just had a quick question.
Okay.
So you gave the two prerequisites. One is about, so one of them being that the user on which you will perform the task mining, that user needs to be registered within the tenant.
Right.
Do you also have to install any kind of a file or an exe on the user's machine?
Yes, there will be a recorder link that will be sent to the user. So it will be sent once we create the project and invite users to our project.
Cover that.
We will cover that in the demo.
What about the Citrix related So let's say if I used to handle a lot of insurance clients, so and they and the all the agents which were working, the claims agents or the insurance agents, they were running on Citrix environment. So how do you tackle that? So maybe when you're doing the demo, if you could cover that. Would be helpful.
Okay. So let me move forward for creating the unassisted task mining project. For that, I'll just click. So firstly, this is the home portal where we can see all the projects that are created in the task mining. I'll just click on start new project. And here I'll provide the name for my project. Let's suppose I say sales order. I can also add the description if I would like to. Then since I'm creating unassisted task mining project, I just have to click on this advanced options and enable the unassisted task mining option for me to create the unassisted task mining project. Once the option is enabled, I just have to click on next. Now it will ask me to add the users. So there are two ways to add users in a project. One is while we create a new project, and other, once the project is created, we can also add the user after that. So let's suppose I just add my own user ID and click on next. And we can add as many users as we would like to, from 2 to 10, yeah. So the next screen will ask us the applications. So it gives us the capability of adding applications that we need recording for. And suppose if there are applications for which we don't need the recording, so we can also add that applications in the deny app. So let's suppose I add an application over here. I say, let's say Chrome and along with the extension and add. We can add as many applications as we need. And also I would like to highlight over here that the applications that we are adding over here, they can be added while creating a project or afterwards once we create the project. And I'll just click on done. So once I create done, we can see that the sales order project has been created and the request has been sent to the user for the project. If I just go to my Outlook, I can see like this is how the invite looks like. And it gives a link of the recorder for the user to download the recorder in their system. So user just have to click on this link and install the recorder. And once they record it, it will ask for signing in. And once we sign in, it will look. Yeah. So this is how the recorder will look like. So since I'm creating unassisted task mining project, I just have to click on mine multiple tasks. Then I just have to click on next, continue. It will ask for my consent, like whether I consent for the recorder to record the applications that I'm using. And it will, I can just click on start. So as we can see, the recording has been started. So it will record the application for which I have selected while creating the project. So let's suppose I open Outlook. I can see icon over here with a gray icon. So this indicates that this application was not in the pre-selected applications that I used while creating the project. Let's suppose I open Chrome. So the icon turns green. This indicates that whatever actions I'll be performing in this screen for this application, it will be recorded in our task mining project. And now let's suppose a scenario where I need to perform few tasks in my Chrome. And since it is the selected application for the recording, it will record every steps. But I don't want the recorder to record few steps which I need to perform. So I can also pause the recording. I can just simply click over here. So I can pause the recording for a maximum of 1 hour. Let's say so it will be on hold. So once I complete my task, I can just click on continue and the recording will again start. And now, since I don't have any data extracted in this, let me just move to the process for which I have already extracted data for the demo purpose. Okay, so this is the order to cash project that I have created and extracted data. So this is the project inside page, and you can also download it as an image using this export button. So this page shows us the number of steps that the user have performed, the total time that is for which the application has been recorded. And it helps us to basically understand our team and, to monitor like what the team is basically doing. And it also indicates the team members, their statuses, whether they are still recording or has the recording been stopped from their side, and the percentage that they have recorded, and the total time recorded. So once we extract all the data, we need to analyze the data, for which we click on this run analysis button. So it is recommended that we should have at least 50,000 actions before we run this analysis, because it uses 5,000 AI units for each analysis, regardless of the number of tasks, right? So that is not a compulsion. We can also run this analysis for less than 50,000 steps. So once I run this analysis, it will just give me a warning message. So I can just click on run anyway, and it will just run the machine learning model to analyze this extracted data. Now, the second tab is the team. So this is used to view and monitor the team that is working on this project. So on the top, we have the users, which are doing the recording part. And in the bottom, I have the admins and the business analysts that I have added to this project. So as I mentioned, while creating the project, that you can add the user while creating and later on as well. So this is the tab in the team. We can add the user if we would like to say. Let's suppose I want to invite another user to this project. I just simply need to enter the user ID. Let's say I invite Deepak to this project. Then I have to select whether with the invitation, do I need to send record a link to the user or not? Let's say I send him the link and I click on invite. So an invite will be sent to Deepak to join this project as a user. We can also add admin and business analyst to this process. The only thing is that only the project admin can add another admin and business analyst. But if we have a business analyst role, so we can only add business analyst, or we can just share this project. We can't add admin. Now moving to the next tab, that is settings. So there are few settings that we can change according to our requirements in the unassisted task mining. First being the output configuration. So task mining provides us with the capability of masking our data, which is enabled by default. So let's suppose there is a scenario where we don't need our data to be masked. What we can do is we can just simply click on edit, disable this option and click on save. So this will change the setting for us. The second is the recorded apps. So as mentioned earlier, we can add the apps while creating the project or later on. So the later on tab is the setting. In the recorded apps, we can either change the setting, like if we want to add another applications in the allow recording part or in the deny recording part, or we can also delete an application from here if we don't want it. So we can implement those changes from here. Now the third setting is the data collection policy. So it helps us to check the user consent. We can just click on there and we can see the consent that has been sent to the. So this consent is the one that I have given while starting the recording. So it will be ask users for every time when they start the recording. So we can also edit from here. Now, once this is done and we have run the analysis using the machine learning model, this result tab will be visible to us in the unassisted task mining project. And it displays the details of the analysis. So if I just click on this, it will show me the output, like the analysis overview. And this analysis overview, this task indicates the number of repetitive tasks that is identified by the machine learning model, the total number of time that is being used to record, the number of actions that are being captured in the data sets, and this users indicates the number of users who have recorded their daily activities in this project. And then we have the total number of applications. So it indicates the number of applications that are being used in this project. It also helps the BA and the business analyst to identify like which applications are being used the most. Like for this demo purpose, I have used the SAP login, but we can have multiple applications and it is easy to monitor like which application is being used the most. Then we have the analysis details. So it will show us the project name along with the time interval for which the recording has been done. So after that, it also provides us with the ranking facility. So it ranks the tasks that are being identified while after analysis according to their capability of being automated. Like the first one being have the maximum capability of it for getting automated. Then the duration, it indicates the time that the user has spent for this task. Then in the users, we can see the number of users who have performed this task repeatedly. Now traces. So this is the number of times this task occurred in the data set. Then we have the average time taken for completing this task, the number of actions or steps that are there. Then let me discuss the status first. So there are 4 statuses that are available to us. The first is not started. So once we run the analysis, all the statuses will be set as not started, which is the default one. Then the second status is review in progress. So it indicates that the task is being reviewed. Then the third is RPA candidate. So it indicates that the task has been reviewed and it is the perfect candidate for the automation. Uninformative indicates that the analysis is complete, but it doesn't give us a clear picture about the process. And this status will be changed by the BA once we analyze the process. Now coming to the task name part. So once we run the analysis, these tasks will be named as task 1, task 2, task 3, and so on. So BA can analyze the process, particular task, and then later on, we can just edit the name. And we can also assign favorite to any task if we would like to. Let me just go inside a task. Okay, so here we can see that there are 2 variants. So variants is basically group of similar traces within the task. So there are 2 ways of performing this task, and both the ways contain 6 traces each. And we can also filter out the information according, like I can just click on this filter option. I can filter out according to the favorite that I have marked favorite traces, or according to the users, applications, then the time taken to complete that particular trace. It is basically up to the user. Then if we click on a particular trace, we can also see the details over here, like the time taken to complete this trace and the user who have performed the steps that it consists of, and the actions, and along with the applications that is being used. Since I have given one application, so it has just mentioned the SAP login. Now, it also provides us a capability of slideshow. So I just have to click on a particular trace. Let me select it. And I can just click on play slideshow. So it will give me a visual replay of the traces that I have selected. And if a particular trace, if any particular picture that I want to delete it, I can just simply click on it, and here the delete option is there for me to delete it. So afterwards, so once we identify the trace that we need to use for the automation, we can just simply select it and export it in different ways, like in the PDD format, that is a document it helps the business analyst basically. Then we have the automation skeleton in the XAML format, which helps the automation developer. We can also export it as a raw data. And then the last one is automation hub, which helps the automation leaders to identify the opportunities to optimize the process and to enhance it. Now with this, we are completed with the unassisted task mining project. Now Deepak will give you a detailed explanation about the assisted task mining.
Thanks, Monica. I hope you have understood like what unassisted task mining is. If there is any question, you can just send it in the chat, and we'll take the questions. So you must have noticed, like in the unassisted task mining, we are using it when we are not sure, like what process we want to identify. Like we are not sure about anything. We are just putting in some user areas. Like we have finance team. We have 5 to 7% working on the finance work, and we have put the unassisted on their system, and we want to find that task. You are not even sure of a task if there is any opportunity. But assisted is a bit different. So in assisted, we are trying to find data about the task that we are aware, like we know this is a task we can automate, but we have to find the detail data of that particular task so that we can create a proper document, and we have all the exceptions and all the decision points in place. So let's just see like how we can create a project. So we have to, similar way, we have to have the access of task mining, and we have to add the user. Then we'll come here, start a new project. We'll give it a name. Let's just say, for example, I'll give it an acme test, and we can give the context, and we don't have to select anything else. We'll move to next, and here we have to add the user. For now, I'll add myself, and I'll click on done. The project will be created in a few seconds. Let me just refresh. Okay, I'll create the project again. I'll click on next. I'll add user. Don't know, for some reason it is not. Oh, okay, it's created. So you'll notice that it has created the project, and it basically has two options. You'll notice like there are two options here. One is capture trace and one is build trace. So first we'll see what build trace is, then we'll come to capture trace. So what is build trace? So in build trace, we have the capability to create the flow by ourselves. Like we have a starting point and we have a step. Let's just say that in this step, we have a condition that we have to go to Acme page. So we can create the flow by ourselves. We can add different steps, we can add different decision points, and we can add different ending points as well. And we can, if we want, we can also add screenshots as well. Like here, if we have the image, we can add the screenshots as well. So this is basically used to create a flow chart. Let's just say that this is a simple process. There is not much complication in it. You can just directly create a simple flow, like it's a straightforward process. You can use this approach, and in the output, if you have given proper description and everything, you will get a proper PDD of that particular process. For that documentation, you will not have to work. You will just have to create this flow. So this is one approach. This is build trace. Let me cancel it. And now we'll move to the second approach, which is different trace. So now we'll have to have this application. This is the same application that we saw during the unassisted task mine. Is the same recorder. You'll also get the link in the mail when you whenever you invite a user. You'll get the mail. You just have to log in. And but in this screen, we have to go as capture task as is, because in unassisted we were not sure how many tasks we were finding. It was unassisted. We are just capturing the data and then we will analyze. But here we know what the task is, and we want to capture that. So we'll go here, and here you will find two options. Let me just, so if you are a project admin and if you have access to the administration, so you can directly click on the create new project in the application too. But if you are not if you are a user, you will not have access to all of this. So you can come here and select the project that you have been added to. Let me just open the task mining again. I think it is stopping in between. Task mining. Meanwhile, it will open. I'll show you an example. Like I have an example in which I have used assisted task mining, and it has some traces and data. We'll see like how the data looks like and how we can use this data for our advantage. So as you'll notice in this process credit memo request item, we have around 22 traces, and it can be for more than one user. We can have around 5 to 10 users creating these traces, and you will notice like all these traces are not same. One trace has 17 steps, one has 13, one has 15, and so on. So it's important to have all the variant of data. Like if a user is doing a certain taking a certain approach and using a certain way, so we have to trace that, and then we will use uh, assisted task mining to analyze that. We can just click here, and all the screenshots that we had can be visible directly in the flow to us, so that it is easily readable, and we can easily understand the flow. And we can have all the details, like while recording, what was the user name, what was the date, what was the number of steps, what was the execution, and like how much time does it took for that user to complete all these 17 steps, and how many actions were there. This is the important part, like how many mouse clicks, and those 10 mouse clicks took the user 24 second text entries, all different kind of data, like in detailed explanation of data we have. But you must have noticed in unassisted, we were not able to have the detail like in 10 actions, 10 mouse click, we are aware. But in that, you have to go in depth and uh, check that. But here we have the flexibility to do that. One more benefit I would say over unassisted here is that we have the complete right to edit flows. I can simply add a step in between. I can simply add a decision point in between. I can simply delete a certain step, and I can certainly start. I can must make this step start to from here again, make a different start point. All these are controlled by the user because it provides us the capability to be flexible. Like because sometime it happens we have the traces, but when the BA is analyzing things and we have to create certain SOPs, standard operating procedure, then we have to make some changes in the flow. In unassisted, we are not able to do that because it is completely analyzed by the machine learning model.
Oh,
We
Joshua.
can't add anything in the unassisted model, but here we have the complete flexibility to add everything in it we want. Like we can even go here and add the description. We can so that the developer who is seeing the PDD generated by this can see like what are we doing actually in this step, what data do we have to pass, or either if we have to take that data from certain screen or certain asset, so we can do all that. And there are three basic uh, uh, other advantages other than this of assisted task mining is merge traces. So merge traces, we have three things: auto merge, guided merge, and compare. We'll see one by one what is the benefit of all those. So let me just select two traces. So we can select more than one traces, and when I click on compare, you will see a side by side. They are side by side, and you can easily, the BA and the person can easily compare like at what step this person is taking a different approach. And you can also see the screenshots, like what point the screenshot is this, and in this point the screen is this. For now this is similar, but it can be a scenario where the screen is different and there is a different step in between. So it's become easy to compare because when you are working with flows and different areas, it's become difficult to compare and analyze that data, like what is happening in the process, at what point is there is a issue in that. So we can identify this through that. And the next option is guided merge. So very important, I would say. So in guided merge, we have the capability that we can create a trace by merging other different traces that we have and create a different one. So let's just say that we have two traces, but in both of their traces, few steps are not standardized. We want to standardize it. We want to add some steps from this flow to this flow. So what we can do, we can just come here, we can append some step from this screen and we can add them here. You'll notice like one step from here has been appended here. So this gives us a complete idea. We can have complete control. The BA and the project admin have a complete control over the data. Like if they want to make any changes in the flow, any step they want to take it from that different trace, they can merge it into a different trace and create a different trace altogether. That we can do very easily. And even after this, if we want to add different steps in between different decision points, all those can be done easily. Let me just save this trace. It will be saved as, let's just say, guided merge only, and save it. Now the next topic that we have is auto merge. So auto merge is a capability that you will notice, like in guided merge, the user was the one who was moving moving the particular step from a trace to a different trace. But in auto merge, UiPath gave us have the capability to do it by themselves. There has a AI system backing this, so they can just select two traces and then click on auto merge. But just to give you an idea, like only 10 free auto merge are available in the trial version. If you want to use more than that, you will have to move to the enterprise license. So I have consumed my 10 free trials, but I have auto merge ready for you to see like how does it provide an output. So as you will notice, I provided like three traces for it to auto merge, and it has identified like your one trace is starting from this particular point and other trace is starting from this particular screen. One is starting from SAP login screen and one is starting from a credit memo screen. So there is a difference between them. So you can see like there is a thing happening in here. So you want to create a procedure, or even if this is a actual process, sometime it can happen here and sometimes it can start from here. So you can set conditions or exceptions according to that. So the developer is aware, like there can be a scenario where the screen can start from this particular area as well, and you have to navigate it to this point. So all those exception handling that the developer has to do becomes easy, and the BA doesn't have to do a lot of hand holding for the developer. So he doesn't have to go to the user and update the document and then go back to the developer to tell them what the change. So it helps a lot in that. And the main benefit I would say is that this point, it creates a decision point. Like at this particular point they were going to here, other point they were going here, they were going here. So what is the decision that they are making? So we have found out there is a decision being taken at this particular point, and after that the user is moving to different screen. So what is that decision point? So we know that here we have to create some decision, so we can ask the user like, what is the decision that you are making? Is there some predefined conditions that you have to are checking, or there are some other things that you have to consider? So we can do that. And even in auto merge, when we have done auto merge, we can add any step at any point. We can even connect this to an existing step. Like after this decision I want to go back here and again move back, we can also do that. We can connect this step to an existing step as well, and we can also add another steps. So now let's just say that we have a guided merge that we just created and we want to export it. The BA is saying that this is the complete process with all the exceptions and everything. So now we want to export it. So what functionalities do we have for export? So in export, when you click here, you will see these functionalities. In functionality, we have a process definition document with a complete detailed definition and description that the BA is providing with all the screenshots, all the particular flow chart. You get a complete BDD document. Then you have automation skeleton. In automation skeleton, it shows you like how the code is. It creates a basic template of a code. Like it has a use application click where you are clicking. It has a click activity and typing that values that you are typing in the run, and you have a type into, then it will type into activity. It will create that. We'll see both of them. Then we have an image if you want to download it as an image format, and then we have we can directly link this to automation hub, because UiPath has a platform, automation hub, which, on the cloud platform. In automation hub we can let's just say that I found a possibility like this can be automated and it can help us in this much way, and it can save this much of time and money. So we can create a case there, and the COE lead or the solution architect will review like if this is a good opportunity to automate and save the time for user. So from here we can directly create that. So we'll just go one by one. Let's just download the PDD and see how does the PDD looks like. Okay, it has been it is exported. It will start it download in a few seconds. Now it is has downloaded. I'll just go to my download folder. This is the PDD. Now you'll notice like it has complete PDD document. Like it has a table of content, all the detail that it found for you from your analysis, like name, time taken, different applications, different user who perform this, and the flow chart, different clicks on certain application, how many clicks, and below you will have find a screenshot and where you were typing, what the description that the user will provide on the analysis phase, the BA will provide on the analysis phase will come here. All those complete document will be there, and the developer just have to see this document, follow the document, and move forward and develop the code. So everything will be covered in one document. We don't have to create different versions of the document to start development. So it is a PDD. Now we have other functionality of it as well, which is second is automation skeleton. It will provide us a XAML file of our code, like how the code will be. So I have downloaded it. It will provide us a zip file for time. I have it already opened in my system. So it has provided me something like this. If you'll see, I'll go into this screen. It has used UiPath activities, like it has used use application, because you are using an application that is SAP logon. And then at that certain particular point, you are typing into something, then you're pressing enter. It has entered that all values, and it even have good selectors, like, but you have to fine tune the selectors, but they are there. They have created a template for you. You just have to fine tune that and use that in your process. Now, moving to the other part, the other major part is the automation hub. So how we can directly create it at a automation hub. So now when we come here, we have to give some entries, but about the process, credit memo request. In description, I'll add only credit. What category it is? Let's just say it is sales and marketing. We can skip these things, but if you are moving in a proper environment way, you should add these things because these things are important. And we have different values, how many different ways. Input data, let's just say 70. Structure input data is around 60 to 80. Then we have to add, we can add comment, we can add user also, who will be the process owner of this process. I can add, I have added Umesh and have exported it. So it will take few seconds and we'll create a project there. Meanwhile, I'll open the automation hub for us to see like how it has created and from where the COE person can took care of and the manager can took this. Now you'll see the credit memo request has been created a few seconds back, and I was a submitter and it is in progress. So from here, the other person can see like if it is good enough or not. Then after this, the task mining part is done. Now we have something called as task capture. So task capture is also a powerful tool to capture all the process, to create documentation and streamline the process. But it is bit different from the task mining. So why, how is it different? Because it doesn't have any AI capabilities, I'll say, because task miners have different capabilities. We can merge different traces, we can analyze, we can, it was automatically labeled like which process you were on. So firstly, we'll see how we can download task capture. We have to come to home page. We have to click on this question mark icon and we have to go to downloads. When you go to downloads, there is a task capture. You can just click on it and the task capture will be downloaded. You just have to install it. I have already installed it in my system. So here it is. It will look like this. So you just have to come here, click on new document. The same two options are there, build diagram and capture process. It is almost a bit similar to assisted task mining, but there is a major difference that I will tell you about that in the end. So build trace is exactly same that we saw in the starting of the assisted task mining, but the capture process, let's just see how the capture process looks like and how we can do this. So you will notice there is a pop-up on the top right. Okay, so you have to just click on start and you will notice it is asking for action title and action description. It will not enter any action title or description. That if you will keep this empty, it will be empty in the document or in the flow. You have to enter it. Either you can enter it at the time of recording or you can enter it afterward. That's fine. But we have to enter it. But in assisted task mining, action title was automatically captured by the task machine or recorder, and we don't have to add the action title. It automatically take that, and if you want, we can add the description in that. So let's just say I have to go to Acme. I'll go to Acme dashboard, and every click, every hotkey, every action I make, it takes it as an action, and it has taken, like for now it has taken 4 action. Limit is 500 actions. So it doesn't consume any AI units to get analyzed, and it doesn't have any limit that you can only do 10 in from certain account. It is completely independent of that. So in this, I have to go to work item. I have to copy this detail, and let's just say I have a notepad. I have to paste that there. So this is my process. I can add description here, like paste the WID, and we can, if I want to pause in between, I can pause it and resume it at the same point. And if I want to stop it, that I know that the process is done, I'll just stop it. And you will notice it will create a complete flow. Close. And it has created the complete flow of the process that I was doing, and it has all the screenshot. One capability that I would say task capture have that is very good is that if you are working on a same screen and you are doing more than one particular clicks on that or action on that particular screen, it has a capability that it can detect that and it can merge that into a one screen. And when you are reviewing that, it will be a one screen, but it will highlight to you that on this screen first you did this, then you did this, and all these things will be there. Like you'll notice it was a complete different steps, but it has merged into a group because mainly my work was on Chrome and that on Acme screen. So I have done that. In this also we have the capability to add any step at any point, any decision, any event, anything I can add at certain point. And even if I want to delete or add any different screenshot or anything else, we can add that, and it will give us all those output that we got from the task capture or assisted task mining, the PDD document, studio diagram as an image, UiPath, Studio X as well. So we can have that. But the major difference I would say between assisted task mining and task capture is that in assisted task mining, we can compare, we can merge, we can see different traces, different users, how much time they are taking, how much things they are happening in a different traces. But here we have a thing that it can only be used for one process. We can't take more than one traces in this. We can't auto merge. We can't do guided merge. We can't do compare. We have to have different flows for that. We have to create a document for this and create a different document for the other trace and then compare. It becomes tricky. There is no AI integration using in this, but on the assisted task mining, it helps us by their AI model. Like it is automatically picking up the labels. So that is very helpful in that. So that is task capture. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Hey Deepak, am I
Hi.
audible?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Hey, thanks Deepak. It was very, it was very detailed and explanatory. Hey, so
Thanks.
I have a quick question, right? Can you
Right.
please tell me what is the difference between task mining and task capture, and why would you use one over the other? Because
Definitely.
it looked very similar.
Right. So just like I said, in task mining, we have a capability like we can have more than one traces at a time, and we can compare those. We can use AI to merge those for us. But in task capture, we can only have one trace at a time. It doesn't have any AI capabilities for us to auto merge or do a guided merge. So for that purpose, because if we are doing finding a process to automate, we are in the discovery phase, we have to find all the scenarios, all the exceptions, all the decision point that the different users, because it can be a scenario the same process is been run by 5 different users, so you have to
Correct.
take all that scenarios in consideration. So in task capture you can't do that. You can just create one trace, and that you have to do manually also. But the task assisted task mining, that will be done by the end user, but the task capture will be done by the business analyst. The user is not using task capture. User is using assisted because it is recording and it is getting uploaded to the cloud, but the task capture is coming to your system at that particular time. That's the main difference between them.
Then why would one use a task capture?
Task capture will be very beneficial for the BAs. Like some processes are there
Got it.
when the BAs are have to create PDDs, and the PDDs are a big process. Like you have to create proper documentation. But the BAs knows the process. If the process is BA know the complete process, all the exceptions, then he can or she can use the task capture and create a document for the user developer. Sorry.
Got it. Got it.
Right.
Got it. Hey, thanks. Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you.
Deepak.
Yeah, Shraddha,
Uh,
you have a question?
sorry,
Yeah.
Nishant here.
To understand it, does it mean
Oh,
that
your voice is very low.
am I audible now?
Yes.
Does it mean that task capture is for one individual and task mining is for many people coming together as a group?
Definitely, because let's just say it is for a particular team. For example, I have a finance team, and I want to analyze all of their tasks because some tasks can overlap each other. So for complete teamwork, we can use task mining. But for a single process that the BA is creating, and we know that it is a single process, it's a straight. The BA has to create document for that. Then we use task capture.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Nishant.
Yeah, so like on a similar line, so task capture tool can be used on BA's desktop, right? I mean, if BA want to create, and in case of task mining, that uh, it runs on the user's machine.
Right. The main point is that because you notice in task capture, you have to have a certain description level because the labeling was not automatically done. And all these things the user, the BA has to manually enter. But in task mining, it was automatically picking up the labels. It was seeing like which task you are on and it was picking up the labels and all those different things.
So like in this case, then we need to have access to that application or process, and then we can use the task capture at.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
In task capture also, like if the process is like a smaller process and not much screenshot required, the BA can also use the build trace option as well. We don't have to capture it. We can just create a simple flow for the user to get understand, and we can take the screenshots. If we don't have access to that, this can be a different approach as well.
Okay. Okay. Understood.
Thank you. Can you please elaborate the difference between variance and traces, Monica?
Okay, so basically traces are the number of times a particular task has been occurred in the data set. And variant is basically different ways to perform a particular process. So it will consist of a group of similar traces within a task.
Oh.
Okay. Any other questions?
Deepak, just I'm very sorry. Just to make sure that I understood it correctly, task capture is predominantly used by the BAs, whereas task mining is used by the user because the user has no idea on what could be made efficient. Is that correct?
Definitely. Right.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Got it.
Any other questions? Anyone? Okay, so we'll move forward. We have few things to showcase. Umesh.
Thank you, Deepak and Monica, for covering this session. I think you covered it really well, and I hope all the participants really liked that knowledge that they have gained in this session. So, as a part of Delhi NCR community organizer, just wanted to share that we have few upcoming events already published for UiPath Insights and using Autopilot using UiPath Test Manager. So we will be sharing the link in the group chat where you can RSVP yourself and understand more about these powerful UiPath features. And also, if you see, we already have a UiPath Delhi NCR Meetup WhatsApp group, which you can join. You can scan this QR code to join WhatsApp group, and where we keep publishing the recent updates that we have, or if you have any queries, any technical queries, feel free to post that. And we have a lot of people there already who help right there. So instead of waiting for long hours, you can just simply get the solution there itself in the WhatsApp group. So feel free to join this, and looking forward to for other sessions as well. So thank you so much.
Just a question I found in the chat, like, have we covered process mining earlier? So we haven't, but process mining is a different approach in that the user's data we are not using. Let's just say we are doing process mining for SAP process. The SAP backlogs and entries we can use, and then it will provide us an output. We are not directly interacting with the user to find output in that, but we haven't covered that. We'll try to cover that in some next sessions as well.
Okay. But sorry, like if like in just short, like in couple of lines, you can explain what's the difference like process mining and this task mining? I mean,
Yes.
is it at the top level? Like, yeah, please.
Right. So process mining is we are not interacting with the user like what the user is doing. It is basically on the top level of the server level system. So in server level, you have logs. So that logs will get picked up, and that logs will be analyzed by UiPath model, and then it will provide us an output like by according to your logs, this process have been performing this much time, and these are the things. So that way you get a idea like these are the processes that we can see for automation, but we have to see like how user is doing that process as well. But there is a layer of that as well, but in the backend by the backend data we can see like how many processes have been happening in the backend.
Okay. So like just to summarize, like task mining and process mining would be at the granular particular process, and process mining would be at the
Server level, you can
organization
say.
level. Yeah. Okay.
So task mining, let's just say like a particular team, a finance team, we are checking the finance team work. So we can do a team wise level, but in process mining, it is basically like if we are checking for SAP. SAP's all module will be covered in that. It can be a bigger approach. If we can limit the logs, that will be also an approach, but it try to find a bigger picture.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Right. Oh, anything else? Any questions? Please feel free to join the community channel and on the WhatsApp group also.
Like
We
there
are
are
active
some
here.
questions on
Right.
the chat window.
Okay, let me just check that. Some have answered by Umesh. Like if there is any particular that we have missed, please feel free to ask. Anyone, like if we have missed any question. I think we have covered them. Umesh, have we covered any? Okay, I think we have covered the questions then. Okay.
All right. So this is it about this session. Thank you so much to all the participants who joined this, and thank you so much for putting us so many questions. Hope you all liked it, and feel free to join the UiPath community Daily NCR page, and also join the WhatsApp group. We'll keep having such sessions in coming months as well. So, thank
Can
you
you
so
just
much.
share the WhatsApp link?
Sure. You can scan the QR
Yeah,
code as well.
okay, okay, fine,
Yeah.
fine.
So we'll just share the screen once again.
One more thing, like if anybody else want to speak and want to be a speaker on some topic, you can get in touch with us and we can get that done.
Can you please share the QR code?
Yeah,
of the
sure.
one?
I'll share that. Just a second. Here is it. You can scan this.
Works. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Deepak and Monica. Nice session.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
இப்ப கிளம்ப போறேன் 5 minutes.